is streaking! Hello, welcome to the Honest Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to this special edition of the Stream Streak. It's day 29 of the streak.
Wow.
Wow. It's huge. I can't wait for it. Soon will be a month old, and I'm loving it. Today I'm joined by my very good friend, Mr. Val Huffsfingers. Hello, sir. How are you?
Mr. Val smells his fingers. I am particularly rough around the edges this morning, Rob. You are looking in fine form. Is that a mock turtleneck? What do we got? What do we got on this hat?
Okay, so this is a North Face snood. I
Oh.
don't know what just happened there. But so this is my immediate Corona cover.
You know what I'm talking about? See, you're onto something here. I went on Amazon. Unfortunately, Amazon's not like shipping stuff anymore because I was like, aha, there's no masks. I'm gonna go get some of those buffs that they had on like Survivor. You know, those like the one they can be a bandana, they can go around your wrist, they could be a Corona face mask.
That's the future.
Rob and I know what's up.
Plus, I also feel like I'm slightly ready for like that APOC look for when we finally overthrow governments. So, which is all I've been dreaming about my entire life. So, you know,
This is the moment. This is what's happening. Now, just be kind to me and my family when the revolution comes, okay? Just don't hang us too high up. No piano wire as well. No piano wire, please.
Anyway, none of that.
But how are you wearing like a balaclava? I was in a pub in the UK as a young man, and I was just wearing a hoodie. Like I was just literally, perhaps young Val looks a bit like this, and the barkeep from like across the room was like, "Oi, oi!" And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Take your hood off." And I was like, "What?" And I didn't realize, because I'm from North America, land of freedom, and not closed caption televisions, that CCTV cams in the UK, if you're up to no good, you wear a hood so that people can't see you.
Hoodies is what we call them.
Hoodies, yeah, literally hoods are people wearing
hoodies. Yeah, it was an over sensationalized story so that like middle class moms could become enraged in the noughties. If you saw someone with a hoodie, they obviously were a criminal. So just a kind of like sort of like mass media social segregation sort of like story, but who knows? Can I regale you with a story because it reminds me of a tale, if you don't mind? And this is not Warhammer related. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I'm gonna try and get as far into the show without letting anyone talk about Warhammer as possible.
Okay, so I'll regale you a story of when I was 19. I was a doorman and I was working in what is a mining town called Stapleford. It was a bit rough around the edges, and I was working at a local
Is that
pub.
because it no longer has any mines?
Yes. Weirdly, the percentage of miners in a town increases the percentage of doormen needed. Anyway, I was working at an oldish pub, and everyone was really nice. But to let you know how kind of like working class and hilarious this place was, half of the pub was for people sat down having pints, real ales, and talking all night. The other half was a disco. Doing yeah, right. Anyway, where young people could go in, but there was a rule because of hoodies. No hoodies, and most importantly, you couldn't wear your hat inside.
No. Nay.
So important point. Anyway,
that means it's a classy joint.
Exactly. That's what it means.
It may be a little anti-Semitic, but we won't get into the roots of why we take our hat off.
Agreed. Well, McLeod in the chat clearly knows Stapleford. It's common kind of nomenclature here in Nottingham is it's shortened down to Stabbo, not Stapleford, Stabbo.
Stabbo. So is this a mining suburb of Nottingham?
Yeah, it's one of the satellite towns. Anyway,
gotcha.
Anyway, so I
got stone for the castle.
Yeah. So I was walking around inside the venue, and I noticed a man who I'd let in previously, who was more into his like 30s than he was like one of the younger whippersnappers. And this is obviously me.
Always a bad look.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so he was wearing a flat cap, right?
Like a flat brim?
So like a flat cap, like a Peaky Blinder.
Oh, like a po' boy.
Yeah, right.
A driving cap.
Perfect. Exactly. Uh, so I, in a very polite way, because as a doorman I was very polite, unless I didn't have to be, I tapped him on the shoulder. He was at the bar. He turned around. I said, "Hey, mate, I'm sorry about this, but the rules of the establishment is that you can't have your hat on. So if you take it off of me, that would be really great." Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't sound. I know that I was always a very polite person because I always thought that worked really well in conflict resolution. It turns out it normally did. However, in this situation, what happened was he grabbed me in a kind of like Thai clinch, if you've ever
That's
done
the
any
first
Thai
mistake.
boxing. Yeah, well, and held my head in. And then in my ear, and apologise for my language right now, he went, "If you don't fuck off your cunt, I'm going to smash your teeth in," right? And then carried on for like a minute, right?
To translate for others, I believe that's oh fucking level, yeah.
Yeah. This is a funny story. I promise this isn't me trying to make myself sound impressive.
I'm impressed.
There's nothing to be impressed about yet. So anyway, I'm in this clinch, and as he's holding me, and at this point I used to do a lot of martial arts. As he's holding me, I was just thinking, as soon as you let go. So he let go, thinking, I've told him. So banged him in the throat, yeah, right? Smacked him in the chin, turned around, put him in a Japanese necklock, dragged him outside, like backwards, like this. There he is going, yeah. And then I just did, I just threw him, yeah, by his neck.
Jazzy Jeff him. Full Jazzy Jeff.
Right, and honestly, I wish if there was a time machine ever invented, I'd go back in time and I'd look at my face at that moment. Because I'd look at my face and I'd be like, my face would have been smiling. I'd be like, this is fucking perfect. I'm probably the best doorman in the world. Like, I'm a fucking legend, right?
Uh-huh.
But my face, and again, I would love to see this thing painted, or I would like to see it like recorded. My face, as he flew through the air, landed in a commando roll, and then came up with his fists up in a fighting stance. Was the scare was from joy. Yeah, from joy to just utter like, oh fuck.
He was so looking forward to you escalating to violence. He was ready for it. Did his hat fall off to reveal a gigantic swastika like tattooed on the top of his head by any chance?
No. Honestly, it's still to this day, it fucking fills me with absolute hilarity because just to watch, I felt that drop like I've never felt an adrenaline dump in my life. I was like, oh, I fucked up here. And it got really wrong.
I thought I had resolved this. It
Yeah.
appears that this continues.
Anyway, I'm sorry. That's my hat about story. That's my story about hats indoors.
But what? Okay, Commando rolled friggin' ninja hop back around. What happened next? Did you just knock him in the balls and that was it, or what happened?
Well, he knocked out a tooth. Hold on. There you go.
Oh no!
And I broke his arm and put his head through a window. So, but the follow up to the story is, which is fun. The follow up to the story is, which is great, is it turns out that he was. I think the correct term, not that you listened to Nathan last night, the correct term is that he was a traveller, and he was travelling. He was walking around the pubs because someone had bricked his brother or something similar. So he was spoiling for a fight anyway. Turns out he was some sort of gypsy fighting king. Anyway, I wasn't allowed to work in Stabbo for a while because there was people with shotguns looking to shoot you, which is a pretty traditional gypsy thing, which is quite exciting. But
you threw one shot Mickey through a window. Did he look like Brad Pitt?
He's actually flat hat Mickey. That's what he was. Anyway, that's my that's my hat story. I don't like the end part of that story. It's only meant to do the anecdote of the face.
Well, it's a good. I like it. It's a good, shall we say, punchline. When you break his arm and throw him through a window, I think that's a good way to end any story. Then I broke his arm and threw him through a window.
It was anyway. That's hats for a while in England. I think it's fine now. Masks are good. We're all good. And this is not Warhammer related at all. So I apologise about anyone. If everyone...
I just want everyone to know that I do not apologise. And that yesterday I was saying that I intend to not talk about Warhammer and ruin Rob's livelihood. But we're up to 47. We're already beating last week with no Falcon. We haven't even mentioned that. Everyone's probably like, where's the good version of this true duo?
Well, where is he?
Where's the guy who actually knows stuff? Where is he? Good question. I don't know. Hopefully he's all right. I think he's hanging out in Western Canada somewhere.
Just doing things, just being awesome.
Yeah, he's probably just perched.
Yeah, the question we've had from
Yeah.
OJ in the chat is, where is the adult? I think that's a fair question.
Spells boss. So true. So true. If it wasn't for his stinging disappointment, I wouldn't get any podcasting done ever. I'm only here because I was afraid that he would be here. If that makes any sense, it's very strange.
It does. It does. Today's good. Today's good. A couple of the days this week, I've struggled because I honestly am getting sick of my own voice at this stage. Day 29.
Impossible.
Bored of myself.
Impossible.
Well, you'd be surprised. Yeah, I'm missing the Falk too. We were going to do, well, we're still going to do a really fun thing today. We are going to talk about the different factions in 40k, what we think about them, and just say some things. I know, first time I said some Warhammer stuff. You got 11 minutes. That's pretty impressive.
I let you segue. I didn't even get in your way there. I allowed you to just effortlessly segue the conversation to Warhammer. Fine. Chat, do you want to talk about Warhammer? Is that really what you want to do this morning?
Can I say
Is
hello
that
to
what makes you happy?
Can I say hello to everyone in the chat? Because we've got Hermanista, Scrivo, Huckenpin, Ace Face. Big fan of him, aren't we?
He's ace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a great face. Let's do a rap thing later, just you and me. Just introduce different people.
It's got to be organic, man. It's got to be organic.
All right. MJ Pegasus, K-Dread, Owen Jackson, the Hobby Hobo, Queekster. Thanks all for being here. Appreciate that loads. Why not mix it that way? No one knows if you're talking about Warhammer or not. I'm not sure what mix it with.
The not talking about Warhammer, I think. I think team, let's just blather on about violence is with me. No, Warhammer sucks, he says.
I want stories of the
I
rough
want more rough
streets of the
streets of the
Midlands.
Ace, I want to say Ace Face last week, and I missed it in the chat because we were. Was it last week? Maybe the week before. Anyway, when we were talking about the Las Vegas Open, he said that he saw me at Las Vegas this past year when I was basically brain dead after the third day of streaming or whatever. And he saved me. Like he hung out with me and kept talking. You know how paramedics keep talking, make sure that you just keep moving, so you don't ever fall asleep and die. That's what he did for me. And we went and we shared a slice of pizza. And he also pointed out that in America, they just have macaroni and cheese all the time. There's just always macaroni and cheese on the menu in America. And then I noticed that at Subway there was macaroni and cheese. We were at the Sbarro. There was macaroni and cheese. He had a point.
Okay.
The whole thing.
Do you think people get worried about approaching you at events? Mainly because you're giant and incredibly tall, and also because you honestly look like an extra from Miami Vice who's just wandered accidentally into a Warhammer event, just seems to know things.
The slan-shaped background actor of Miami Vice, yes.
No. No. The large boat-owning member of Miami Vice.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, I grew up on sailboats, man. Beater, old fiberglass sailboats. So no speed cigarette boats for old Val.
Are you a river traveler?
Lakes. We have these great lakes, the best lakes. Lakes so big you've never seen a lake like this. And I should know. My uncle was a lake. My dad was a cruiser, a sailor, if you will. And so but also you mentioned the traveling gypsy approach to going to pubs earlier in the conversation. This was how my dad approached boats and boat maintenance. So yeah, it was like a gypsy encampment boat. It's nightmare.
No, tell me more about boats. Tell me more about boats.
We were putting up the mast just last year, as a matter of fact, and I was like, Dad, are you sure you know how to do this? Because he got a smaller boat because he's old, and I'm Canadian, so it's boot, and so he's old, and he wanted a smaller vessel, and now it's a mast that you're supposed to be able to walk it up, it's supposed to be a step mast. was like, Dad, have you ever? Because normally we use a crane, like a big apparatus to put the mast up. I'm like, Dad, did you like look into this? Because I forget that although he knows the internet, he grew up, like he was a programmer and all that kind of stuff. I always think he's with it. He hasn't learned to Google everything. He still just makes stuff up. I don't know about you, but like I don't just do anything. Like I watch a tutorial. I like read stuff. He's of the generation that would just try and figure out how to put a mast up. So we dropped it really badly in a parking lot. Yeah, it's just terrifying going on boats with that guy at this point. So that's my dad, and I grew up on boats. Don't know how we got on this topic.
I really like this topic. I really like that I can short sentence put when I put the podcast up. Listen to Val talk about raising his mast with his dad as a as a clickbait title. I'm using that all day long.
His gypsy caravan on the lake. Dad. Yes.
Because where in Canada did you grow up?
Well, I grew up in Toronto, which is on the Great Lake known as Ontario, which is where the name of my province comes from. You don't have provinces where you're from, I do believe, because you conquered places and made them provinces, and that's what we are.
We have fiefdoms, I think. I'm not sure. I've been made to watch a lot of Downton Abbey recently, and I'm not. The main guy in it is an earl, but the earl doesn't sound particularly impressive. But I think it's quite high up in the social strata.
Did the local workers committee tell you that you had to go do some research before the revolution comes? Just find out their ways.
To find out who needs to be overthrown. Yeah, in England we have counties, is what we have. But also, do you have parishes as well? We have those.
No, parishes are not a thing here. We have counties. We're broken province. Counties, definitely. Cities, towns. I don't know. I don't really know how that all works out. But everything's named for Simcoe around here, who was a English governor.
What? Everything is named after him or by him?
There's just a lot of Simcoe streets. Simcoe. There's a smaller lake called Simcoe. There's like just lots of places called Simcoe.
Okay. All right.
British guy.
Oh, I'm in Nottingham, which originally was called Snottingham, as it was.
You know what?
Mount Snot.
It took me. That's awesome, but it took me a long time to put together the fact that you live where the Sheriff of Nottingham is from.
Yes. Yes.
That blew my mind. Like I was probably like standing in the middle of a crowd somewhere and went, "Holy shit! The Sheriff of Nottingham is from Nottingham."
Why were you thinking about it at the time?
I don't know. I just didn't put it together. I think it was pretty badass. Also, I really find it adorable that the UK has a national forest now. It's like a little, what is it, like a square kilometer of trees that you have left in your country?
Wow. No, we've got all sorts of areas, I think. Pennines is like further north. That's a thing. I don't know. The major oak. This is a thing. If you're not from Nottingham, this is a true thing. The major oak, which effectively is Robin Hood's tree. I'm
right.
doing this
because he's totally a real thing.
Totally a real thing. Well, he actually was based more in Leicester. Actually, if anyone wants to get involved, but as in Nottinghamer, I don't care. But what was I getting onto? What was I just
exactly?
I don't know. The major oak is a tree, so you can walk around Sherwood Forest. That's nice, and eventually you get to the pinnacle of the forest, which is the tree. Now, this tree is just actually an old, desiccated husk at this stage, which has genuinely just got loads of poles holding up the branches. Yeah,
it's alive.
Pardon me. It's it's kind of like late stage capitalism. It's kind of working, but
hanging in there.
Hanging in there, but we're not sure if it is properly.
Pumped full of hormones.
Anyway. But that's a really fun experience because people come to Nottingham and they're like, oh, I'm going to go see the Major Oak. And I'm like, that is going to be the disappointment of your life. Because I think that they think it's going to be like when you visited
Major Oak?
Yeah, when you visit Elrond, and there's going to be wooden castles and trees and waterfalls.
I'm just impressed that there's an oak tree left in England that wasn't turned into a ship of the line. That's all Canada was good for the UK was lumber and beaver pelts. That was literally all that England wanted us for.
Beaver pelts.
fancy hats and ships in the line. Hmm?
Well, Ships in the Line are pretty cool and reminds me of one of my favorite TV shows, Hornblower. But I've stopped letting us digress. Yeah, because it's 20 minutes in, and we're gonna.
They're on to us. 69 new Heffelfinger record of concurrent viewers here. No Pete, no Warhammer content. We are clipping along at 69 viewers.
Congratulations, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being here or beavering here. Part of the story.
We're gonna blow your mind with some of the deepest cut insights about this Warhammer game.
Yeah.
In the last 5 minutes,
well, it's not meant to be. It's not meant to be deep cuts. What I would like this to be is a sharp introduction, top line, yeah,
right,
to the different factions, story, gaming. Help of the Twitch chat. We're just going to have some fun. As clearly, yeah. Also, the fact it was 69. Lol. Let's all be children about it. Val looks like Doctor.
Oh, no!
Val, you look like Dr. Robotnik today.
Yeah, I don't quite see the likeness, but I'll take it. Because Dr. Robotnik, he floats around in like a hover bubble. It's pretty impressive.
It is very impressive. I'm thinking how everyone will live in the future anyway. Just little hover cars, not touching each other, just like in a dome, just, screaming for human contact.
I think the biggest takeaway here is that once things are back to normal, another reason we will now not be able to get on a plane is if we have a slightly elevated temperature. And that will ruin our vacation now randomly every now and again.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll stop my like pre-flight push-ups that I always do just as I'm about to get on the flight, just to feel a little bit like, when you're sitting next to someone on the plane, you want to make sure that they know that you've worked out that day. So just get a bit more bulk in the arms because you want to get that arm rest. So you just push. Shit.
Unfortunately, because you mentioned Warhammer, it looks like the chat seems to want to talk about things. So you can lead off. I'll just give you my gut take because that's about as deep as it gets, and then you can tell me why my gut is wrong.
No, that's not what. Well, okay, fine. Let's do that. I mainly wanted to talk about. We'll start with we're going to just go in alphabetical order.
Oh snap!
Oh snap! To make it easier. So the Adepta Sororitas. So these are sororitas. So the the nuns with guns, I think, is another way that the Adepta Sororitas is.
This is the new faction to me still, because it was so-called new faction when I very first started playing with grown-up toys when I was a little kid. Because they came out, 96?
Long time ago. Long time ago. And they are all... so, yeah, it's brand new, right? I think it's all been released, or it had been released before the lockdown. It had been out and about, and had been at some events as well. But as I understood it, yeah, the nuns with guns were a much loved narrative army that people wanted in return. So when they returned, there was a lot of hype about it, but not really the hype that you experience when we get onto things talking about like Iron Hands as an example. It's a different form of hype, and I don't know if it encompasses different worlds. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Well, I mean, first of all, I think there's a lot more work that would have to go into the average Sororitas army, because not everyone was sitting on like 10 kilos of pewter to be able to crack it out of the case and use it now that it's super hype and has got new rules. But they needed to actually assemble a bunch of plastic that actually didn't get fully released until just before the world got put on pause. So I'm not surprised we haven't seen much of them. But you do see anecdotally a lot of guys out there sort of painting up stuff. You had Andrew Gagno made use of them at the LVO before they were like just after essentially they had been released. So people have been making a go of them. They're an interesting complement to Imperium armies.
Okay. Yeah, I think I think they're a very interesting army mechanically, and also a big shout out to MD Vaginos for subscribing. I think I've got that right. MD Vaginos. Yeah, I'm going for that.
Vaginus.
Don't.
He was very vaginous.
Why didn't it work out with her? She just was too vaginous for me. Right, so one of the things that I liked about this army on release is the Triumph of St. Catherine, which is a fairly...
Come on, so cool.
So cool, pretty cool, unique way of a unit working inside 40k. It was nice to see the game designers actually, not just put reroll ones on something and be like, nailed it again, boys. Like, how do they do that when when they've got the whiteboard and they're like, right, ideas for the new unit, right, and it's like 4 hours later, and they're like, so reroll ones. Everyone's like, nailed it, absolutely.
No.
How did you do it again?
Reroll ones to wound.
Whoa!
That's when you know it's special, when it's reroll ones to wound.
That's when people take note. Anyway,
the Triumph of St. Catherine, by the way, is a heck of a thing. And just before we went dark on the show, someone did reasonably well with it in a tournament. And I think if you go to 40kstats.com, you'll be able to see a version of that list.
I would like to see that. Also, Val, your camera's frozen. I don't know if you've turned it off.
Not intentionally. No, this is a nightmare. What is going on? Yeah, at least I froze in a nice happy face.
Oh, it's a great pose. Don't worry.
Help me, Gold Leader. What should I do?
Just unclick your camera off and turn it back on. Try that.
All right, we'll see what happens.
See, this is my tech support. I got another message today. I'm generally slowly becoming some... it's quite nice. I got another message off a guy that does Golden Demon painting today, and he was just like, oh, don't know how to do some streaming things. And I was like, okay, just download these. You should be good, I think. Does that come before or after the importance of model jumping off a rock? I don't know what Ace is talking about with the Triumph of St. Catherine. Val, have you gone?
Well, I'm still here. Noticing that, yes, indeed, it is quite frozen, everybody. And Scrivo says that the background blur is triggering him. Well, if I ever get caught with one frame of me stuck on TV for a long time, this one would be fine with me.
It's a good one. In the moment of joy.
I'm showing my laugh lines. This can be the file photo of Val Huff's fingers. I don't mind at all. I have no idea what's wrong. What do you think I should do?
I'm just going to call you back. Let's try that.
Okay. Shall we reboot?
Yeah, I'll talk to you. We're calling him back, everyone. Just hold on. So we'll see what this does, which it should be fine. Let's just... we use Skype to call people if anyone's interested. It's really easy. We use Skype and we use OBS. So if you guys are ever interested in doing this for yourselves, that's all you need to be able to make this work. And it's pretty fun. I don't know if you guys can hear the Skype call. No, that's good. That would be so annoying for the viewers. Just going to dance while it happens. Dun, dun, dun. Apparently Val quits, and I'm just being hung out to dry.
The person you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
I got to put on speaker, not speaker. Oh my God, what is it called? There we go.
Okay.
Hello.
Rebooted Skype.
We're all good.
Are we back?
Yeah.
Excellent. Boom. 3 minutes of non-Warhammer content. Like that.
I just nailed it. Right. Has anyone got anything to say in the Twitch or about any final thoughts about the Adeptus Sororitas before they move on? Nuns with guns.
Feel free to take your time, guys. There's only 26 of these. Or however many there are.
If we don't finish them, we can just come back to it next week, so that's fine.
True. This is evergreen.
Yeah, this is good. Gabe says, that's the best. You finally get on topic and he bails.
All part of my evil plan.
Oh, dear.
By the way, that Sisters of Battle list I was referring to, which featured A Triumph of St. Catherine took place at Battlefield Birmingham, of no places, and is indeed available on 40kstats.com.
It's a
If
very
Pete was here, he'd tell you why that's notable or cool, but apparently people were pretty interested in how someone won any games with a Triumph of St. Catherine involved.
There you go. Right, that is what Pete would do here. But now you've just got the two chuckleheads. Double chucklehead power is more than you could ever handle, I think. But yeah, the models are really great. Obviously, the new releases and stuff. But I mean, that's pretty. You don't need to constantly say that because that's pretty true all of the time.
They're doing pretty good at that whole model thing.
Yeah, they're pretty good at that.
And I mean, this is actually the release of the Sisters of Battle Adeptus Sororitas line is actually particularly a bad moment for one of the greatest and most substantially derpy models of all time. And maybe this is a better topic. The derpiest models of all time. I would put the whatever she's called, the one who's like yelling at everyone, like she's got like her mouth open, and she's got a new version of her now. Come on, Rob.
I honestly they never bothered me. I was super into people who've listened for a while will know that I was and am super into the Heresy. So the Sisters of Silence were always of interest to me, but the Sisters of Battle just never twigged
your berries.
Yeah, my berries. It just didn't tickle my gooseberries at all. So I never really looked at them. I was super into anyway, so I don't know. The truth be told, the Canoness.
No, it wasn't the Canoness.
Apparently, Symbol says it's the Dialogus.
Yes! Dialogus.
So bad that they gave it the same face. Dialogus. I need to go look at this.
The new version definitely calls out like the original version. The original version kind of looks like, I don't know if you've ever seen.
Oh my god, that's awful.
I don't know if you've ever seen the painting of the Renaissance fresco that the old lady tried to restore and just turn it into this horrible soupy mess. That's kind of what the old Dialogus versus the new one is like. Like the new one's in HD, the old one is just a goopy puddle of awful.
It's just the worst. I'm just trying to see if I can get it up on the screen for you guys, but I can't. But yeah, horrific. By the way, you could buy it for whatever 782.
Oh my god!
P with a line through. No idea what currency that is, but that equates to
pence?
10. That equates. No, I know what pence is. I know what my own currency looks like.
Do you?
Do I? But
I mean, even the is this actually the studio paint job? Is this the? That'd be hilarious if it actually is, because it has eyeball paint job of all time as well, if that's real. She looks like she's wearing glasses with gigantic pupils.
I found the coolest website that this model is on. It's on a website called Black Market Miniatures.
Oh damn!
Oh, don't tell me you want to go there.
I bet you that is a legitimate online retailer of fantasy wargaming miniatures.
.su. Where's SU? Sunderland? Can't be right.
Your computer's got a virus?
.su. Sudan?
All I know is that there's a prince from that country who is dying to give you his inheritance if you just send him a check for $50.
Okay, so now we know that Sumeria. So now we know that Sisters of Battle are big in either Sudan or Sumeria, which is quite interesting. But no, I see what you mean. The screaming face. The new model is way cooler. Way cooler.
The new model is great.
Yeah, but the old one, awful.
I would put. I don't know. I don't think you can put really anything on the same level as Old Nagash, but I feel like this is from the same school of good God. That is the dumbest looking model I've ever seen.
They really have stepped it up. Over the past, if you actually look, because as many of you know, I only got into the hobby maybe 6 or 7 years ago, so a lot of the I sometimes would come across a model like on the shelves or something, and be like, "What the fuck is that? That is horrific." But so I'm not really. I honestly don't know how some of you entered at this stage and were like, "Yeah, this is the game for me." Cracking it, boys.
Yeah. I need to collect, again, like 17 kilos of Adeptus Sororitas. Yeah, the army for me that was like that, as a person who's like participated in 40K for a long time, but like went away and then came back, was actually when 8th edition. Thank you, Jack Baker, 1919, for the mustache shout out. Also 1919, great year because that's when the Spanish flu ended.
It is. It is also a little update, Downton Abbey update. Last night, one of the people died, but it wasn't Lady Mary, thankfully, because we're over the moon about that. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not saying
I can't believe you weren't joking about the fact that you're watching that, but I just want a little aside. If you know anything about the historical narrative of the 20th century, specifically the United Kingdom, you will ruin that show for your spouse. Because I literally, at the beginning of that season, leaned over to my wife and was like, that guy's going to die of the Spanish flu. I nailed it. It was amazing. Crushed it.
I just get super emotionally invested in the really small storylines. Obviously, super attracted to the Irish rebel who wants socialism, but at the same time, really into the butler, just really into him, and he's just like,
oh,
yeah. But the old dowager princess is the queen of the one-liners. If we could get her commentating on some games,
yeah, she's a treasure. Maggie, whatever her name is.
yeah.
The issue I have with Downton Abbey is that it kind of has like this whole rich people are nice kind of thing going on to it, because like everyone's in it together out there on the Abbey, and like they're always looking out for Mrs. Padmore and when she goes blind and stuff. So it just is a bit. I don't think that the British aristocracy was, super kind. I don't think they're known for their warmth.
They weren't. They weren't to me. They weren't to me, I'll tell you that. Yeah, as the bastard child of the Queen, which no one knows.
We were, where were we? We were talking about Warhammer there for a second.
Yeah, sorry. Well, it was looking at these old models. I thought, well, they must have been sculpted during the Spanish flu, because go on.
I was gonna say that you talking about like what the heck is this when you occasionally look at models was me when 8th edition dropped. It was the first time I was prompted to like look at the Tyranid range, and I remember like looking at like what is that thing with the tendrils that shoot out of its face? It's like not a venom thrower, but I don't know. It's the other version of the Maliceptor.
Right.
The Maliceptor's two models. Anyway, and I just remember every single sculpt. I was like, what is this? Because there was just so many, actually in this case, cool sculpts. Toxcreen, thank you. And that I just never seen, because who played Tyranids in 7th edition? Answer: nobody.
That was actually my first 8th edition purchase, actually. Was a Tyranid army with a bunch of Toxcreens. X-Screens. Yes.
X-Screens are the good ones. They have the guns, I think. And
Yeah.
yes, Dark Winnow too. I am terrible at names. You would know this from my coverage of Capital City Bloodbath last year, where I referred to many important meta units as the Thingy and the oh God, kill me. I believe that's what I usually talk about.
We've had a question in the chat. Do you think if you got the cast of Downtown Abbey on the stream, they would actually talk about Warhammer? Probably more than we.
Downtown Abbey is a totally different program. It's a bit more edgy, hip for the younger generation.
It's honestly fantastic. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I don't love it. It's just the best. I loved Hornblower. I love Sharp. And now I love Downton Abbey. There just isn't enough people calling each other bastards, but like off screen with other Englishmen telling them like, "Oh, be calm now, sir. Be calm." I would really like to.
Strange.
Go on.
It's strange because I only ever imagine you just watching, like, literally the only thing you watch is just Blackadder. That's all I can imagine you ever watching, and just at the end of every episode, just being drained by the ennui of the current zeitgeist. Just be, Blackadder, you put your finger on it.
Years ago, yeah, Blackadder and Red Dwarf, I think. But anyway, Let's talk.
Also, shout out to Angle for both mentioning Toxicreens, referencing something called a stratagem, and a data sheet. Don't know what those things are, but apparently
Useful.
something to do with Warhammer.
Useful for 40k. Useful indeed. So next up is the Adeptus Custodes, which brings us on to an amazing subject.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What?
Well, someone fairly famous was painting them recently.
Oh, Superman.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. He was painting like a head at a time, which was adorable.
It's super adorable. No
He
Zenithal
had
highlighting.
Sub-assembly.
Yeah.
That is as far as I got, because I had to actually look him up to figure out who he was. And then I realized he was Superman, and I was way impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer him as the Witcher. I much prefer the idea that the Witcher is painting Warhammer, but obviously caused a storm on the internet, which is great. A lot of thirsty boys sending them messages, I imagine. Him and, of course, Vin Diesel plays 40k.
So Vin Diesel is associated with a lot of different like nerd subgenres, and including like he's the one I always hear with him is Dungeons and Dragons, that he loves to. He's a big role playing game guy. Same thing with Robin Williams. Although Robin Williams, when he passed, I don't know if you guys caught it. One of his, I think it was his daughter, was basically going through his collection of stuff, and he accumulated a lot of knickknacks and paddywhacks, and he did, in fact, have a ton of old, like, armor cast Warhammer 40,000, like, Titans and things.
Yeah.
Because she was, like, posting photos, like, what the heck is this? We need to, like, sell this for charity or whatever. And so people were pointing out Robin Williams' collection. So it turned out that, he didn't really play 40K per se, but he did, like, the toys, and he collected it as part of some of his miniatures and things.
But
anyway, getting back to
hold on, other famous people who play 40k, and obviously this one is cast iron, because when I first started working at Games Workshop, obviously being part of the community team, which is the advertising department, which was only 4 people at that time, the first thing I thought was, well, I'm going to get a bunch of famous people and get them to advertise that they like it. So I put a message out. I was like, does anyone know anyone? And one of the ones that came back, which I love, is, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger has a big 40k army.
Impossible.
Absolutely. He has there are stories of him. He has a whole bunch of tanks. They're unfortunately Ultramarines, but he has like a diorama built. Yeah,
No.
100%.
Because I've occasionally Google Warhammer 40,000 famous people ? And I have never seen any connection to Arnold Schwarzenegger in my life.
100%. 100%. There was a Cribs or a tour or something where someone went round and they were like, what's this? And they were like, this is some stuff.
Oh, this is the Warhammer.
Yeah, this is the tanks. These are the other Terminators.
And there's also more, and this is going to be classic Val reference because I don't know the guy's name. But he's a youngish dude, and I saw him on and I seem to remember an English accent, maybe not. I feel like he was maybe in a Marvel movie.
Oh my god, this is a tough reference.
He might be the new Spider-Man. I don't know, but anyway, I remember seeing him on an interview, and the interviewer just fully outed him about Warhammer on the interview, and I was like, that's kind of mean to do to a famous cute guy, and because I have hobby shame.
Was it Ed Sheeran?
Was it Ed Sheeran?
Because Ed Sheeran plays.
You think it was Ed Sheeran, everybody?
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe it was Ed Sheeran. But anyway, I was like, new. And also, by the way, every time I discover a legitimate, unlike your Arnold Schwarzenegger allegations, a legitimate, famous, handsome person that plays Warhammer, I immediately run to my wife and be like, see?
I mean, to be fair, if The Witcher and Superman is playing, then we're all good. Truth be told,
Oh,
but
dude, that guy is so chiseled, like it's ridiculous. He is like carved from marble.
did you
It's
see
amazing.
him though in the spy movie that he was in, which was amazing, super underlooked, which was a remake, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which was a TV series that I loved as a child.
Ooh, good reference.
Yeah, but did you see the remake that he was in?
I only saw it because I obviously looked up his IMDb to see where he's from, and I did realize that there was a remake of Man from U.N.C.L.E., but also he was in the epic Canadian UK production of The Tudors,
The Tudors.
which is horrifyingly bad and hilarious. It's just a sex romp through the 15th century or whenever the Tudors were.
It's not as bad as Outlander, which if you've been forced to go through Outlander yet, is one of the most uncomfortable experiences of my life. Just watching intimate love scenes for like 8 to 11 minutes, and you're like, this isn't even. I don't want to see this anyway.
Guys, I just want to point out, not talking about Warhammer, back to 63 viewers. We're marching towards 70, guys.
Right, I'm going to see what the
Tom
guys in the
Holland? Was Tom Holland it? I don't think it was Ed Sheeran. Maybe it's Tom Holland, chat.
It could be Tom Holland. I can't wait to show you this Arnie thing and prove you wrong. It's going to be fantastic.
I just thought that might be like if he... Yes, it was 100% Tom Holland.
Yeah. Twitch Village Idiot, by the way. If you guys haven't watched The Man from U.N.C.L.E. remake with now hobby hero Cavill, you should watch it because he puts in a stellar performance. And I'm not going to lie, as much as I have this ragged, horrible look that I do, somewhere between hobo and rebellious punk soon to be in jail, I like a good suit. I'm not going to lie to you. The TV show Suits gets me every time.
Dude, my haircut is Harvey's haircut. That is I literally walked into the barber and I was like, I want Harvey's haircut. And she was like, I'm not a barber. I went to school for this. And I was like, cool, just do it.
Just do it. This is what I want.
It's been my haircut for like 7 years.
So yeah,
that shot in my hometown. The Suits is shot here. Like when I go to work, I walk past all the like background scenes of it. And that is why what's her face, now no longer a royal, but was briefly a royal with Harry, whoever, I don't know.
Harry, probably.
Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
She was on that show, and they met here when Harry was getting drunk in our bars on various military engagements.
Really? I did not know that he was there for that. I thought he was...
Actually, he was here, I think, for the Invictus Games, I think is why he was here. But Harry occasionally will pop up in Canada because he comes here to hang out and carouse.
Well, I think they've been Brexited now. I'm not sure what that means, but they're out for life.
They said they were like, I'm out.
Yeah, I'm out, which is such a Harvey Specter move.
And neither of them are Harvey Specter.
No,
but
they're not.
I'm pretty sure Harvey Specter is 100% in. Like that guy is as establishment as it gets. That's the whole point of the show. I would say the conceit is Harvey Specter welcoming in the fake guy who looks. The second character on Suits looks a lot like the Hot Ones host, and I get them confused all the time.
Well, the Hot Ones, the Wings show.
Yeah,
I love that show.
Perhaps like it is the inside the actor's studio of our time. It is so good. Times this Rob's last. How dare you?
That's been there for
years.
years. That's been there for years.
I was going to shout at Nightbot for giving you credit for the tangents. But thanks, Nightbot.
It's okay.
Doing a good job.
That's it's taken me several years of the chat consistently spamming ! tangent for me to slowly rein myself in over the years. Like actual abuse from the chat. Like, Rob, come on, concentrate on what you're doing.
OJ 180. There's freewheeling, and then there's this. Please go deeper. I'm curious to know whether or not that is a longer content. Kind of comment. 71, guys. We are setting records.
74.
Call your friends. Call your nan.
Well, we're also on Facebook, Val.
Get 'em in here.
We're also on Facebook. There's four
We're on
people.
Facebook?
There's 4 people watching on Facebook right now. Also.
That's what Facebook calls a watch party.
Yeah. All right. Well done, you guys. Give it a share. Right. Anyway, the second faction. Okay.
Okay.
We talked about.
Oh yeah, Adeptus Custodes.
Played by Henry Cavill. That's how we got there.
Right.
Honestly, considering we're going to be here every Tuesday, you, me, and the Falcon,
Can we maybe
like
put a
5 or
pin in
6
this one?
weeks. What, you want to put a pin in this particular?
Because literally the cartoon version of Pete is Adeptus Custodes, and he loves them, and he played them in 30K, and he dummied them. And is this the 12-hour stream, OJ 180? You know what? Sure, let's do it. 12 hours. You can just watch me just start working at my desk.
Don't you have to leave in 11 minutes or something?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. I'm fully working from home these days. But anyway, Pete loves the Custodes. So why don't we just go to the next one? Down to 66, guys. Pick it up.
Okay.
Let's go to the next
Well,
one.
are you going to join me? Are you going to join me at any point for the 12-hour stream on Saturday?
12 hours on Saturday.
So Saturday, this Saturday coming, midday to midnight,
Right.
as a thank you for everyone donating some money to get us the new router. We're router. We're doing a whole 12 hours as a big thank you. There's obviously also the Games Workshop reveal, which is very exciting.
Oh, I'm sure it will be.
Also, I know this is a side note. Do you know? So one of the hilarious things that came up. I know this is a side note. Is a very funny thing to say in this conversation. But did you watch the reveal last week or hear the story that? So on Saturday, the other Saturday, that they banned a bunch of people in the chat from saying Astartes. But most importantly, and this is the really important one, someone in the chat started saying that we should make Stompers 500 points. Now, I know Orcs are an army close to your heart.
Were they using the hashtag Pray for Stompa meme?
They were, and it was so serious. They were like belligerent. It was like every 5 seconds they were just hammering it, and then everyone in our chat. So we love an underdog on the Honest Wargamer. So we were just in there. We were like, I was like, dudes, get in there, and everyone was like, why aren't Stompers 500 points? Let's go.
I think 600 points. I think if it was the same points cost, because you can't quite make it. I think probably the Stompa's got to be like 625. No, it's got to be at least whatever you can't get 3 into one list is, because then you'd have a Stompa Bob in 2,000 points, and that would be a little silly. Also awesome. So yeah, actually no, 600 points Stompa. I'm in.
Well, so that led me to read the Psychic Awakening for Orcs. Read the rules.
Quickstar, if it's 10% Warhammer content, I am not doing my job. But thank you for that ratio. Continuing.
30% side notes. Also, prizes for any time I say. We'll put a pin in that for later, which is always a really nice one that I never actually ever.
Let's put it in the parking lot, guys. Let's take this conversation up to 40,000 feet and blue sky it. Let's just blue sky what the Honest War Game could be. And let's ideate. Let's do some ideation.
I've never heard that.
Ideation, the fucking verb of idea. Corporate jargon, it just makes me upset. Just so upset. Because I lived in a very hokey corporate culture for many years. I now live in a soulless corporate culture. I preferred the hokey version where people believed in what they were doing, to be honest. But at the time, and they all just talked like MBAs, but they weren't MBAs. They were just people who Googled MBA talk. I suppose this is kind of like a meeting at GW. It was probably very similar, actually.
No, not at all, because obviously they don't have a traditional corporate structure. They have a bunch of people who once worked in shops, pretending they know what's happening, probably having watched the TV show.
They've Googled corporate jargon.
No, they've just watched the TV show Suits. It's actually the thing that you are made to watch when you walk through the door. You have to watch it seasons 1 to 5, and then you're like, right, say things, and it's just like, let's brainstorm. It's like, cool.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Oh, what was my point going to be? Because I felt like it was a good one.
We were ideating. We were jargon talking.
I was side noting for a reason.
Games Workshop's cheap Stompa.
Oh, okay. So we obviously were in love with that guy. That's amazing. I also later got banned from the Twitch chat, which is kind of funny as I made the Twitch. But we'll ignore that for a while. I'm obviously going to make a...
You only recently got banned from their chat?
I know, right? It
took you too long.
They
man.
also banned people from putting the Roblins in there, which was unfortunate. But that makes sense. They also deleted the Duncan emote, which is very petty. But... yeah, I know, whatever. It doesn't matter. My point is, and this is fun... I then went on to read the Psychic Awakening for Orcs, and I was just like, okay, right, let's see what's going down. And then I was reading it, and I was just like, because obviously I've got this thing in my head now about Stompers, and I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, and I can't wait for Pete to come on next week or anyone to naysay this, that Stompers are now genuinely good at their points. Because
in my international orcish conspiracy, which you used to be a part of, but you dropped out for some reason.
Yeah, I can't be in Facebook groups, chats.
I know.
Yeah.
There's one that I want to break up with right now, but I can't because I think I would make people sad. But anyway, the in the Great Orcish Conspiracy chat, there's a good player from the West Coast who was kicking around a Stompa list, and for me, the thing is you need to have a Stompa mob. So that means you need to have a super heavy detachment with a Stompa and then 2 super heavies. For the orcs, you probably want to take cheapness here, and it's probably going to be 2 kill tanks. You can also run 2 giant squigs, and you can get that into that plus a battalion and 2,000 points. Because a Stompa with the character keyword, a 4++, a +1 to hit and to wound in combat because it degrades and hurts its weapon skill. Well, it's 8 o'clock, guys.
It's time to start with.
Is actually turns out to be actually kind of fun and super good. Also, can deep strike for 3 CP in the Stompa mob, which is fabulous because it keeps the Stompa off the table at the beginning. So it's a fun lolsy list, but I wouldn't with a straight face tell you it's good.
Well,
I have played it in RTT though.
So with a straight face, I'll tell you that I think so. One of the big things about it is there's a psychic power gives you reroll all to hits.
The Evil Sons one, yeah.
Yeah, and that for me, I think, like when you're fishing for those 5s and 6s, is a lot. And like, but what was fun? What was fun about it was this guy's there going, make them 500 points. Then I read the Psychic Awakening and I was like, if you made them 500 points, honestly, like this would be bad news. Like because that, like you can also give them a weapon that makes their super gatler like damage 2, which is also huge as well.
Yeah, it's you make them Evil Sons, bring them in a Stompa mob. I ran them as at the time when it was just the Stompa mob after Vigilance, Vigilant. You know, that one.
Yep.
Shout out chat.
You mean Vigilance Defiant?
Vigilance Defiant, I think. I don't know. Vigilance? Yes, the campaign books. Anyway, when that came out, the Stompa Mob came out, that's when I ran it. And I ran it as Snake Bites because that actually gives the Stompa even more wounds, essentially, because it gives them a 6-up, what do you call it? Damage reduction roll?
DPR. Damage prevention roll, yeah.
Damage prevention roll, very good. Or a Feel No Pain for everyone else at home.
Unless you don't play 40k and don't understand what, or like your very first introduction to 40k was buying the starter box, which contained a bunch of Death Guard, which was Disgusting Resilience. And then you're like, oh, do you mean Disgusting Resilience? It's like, no, I mean Feel No Pain. It's like, well, we don't understand each other, so why don't we use one fucking term? That would be easy.
Who are you, like John Locke or something?
Just
You're trying to... Anyway, so yeah, I think that if we want to talk about Stompas, that's how you can seduce me into talking about 40k, because I do definitely believe that they should be reduced in points. I think probably, though, like Stellan point range is probably the safer range. That 600-700 point range.
But it was fun. And what was a fun journey for me from last week was watching this guy just going it. This guy going crazy in the Twitch chat and me being like, you're my hero, I love you, and I love how committed you are. Like, he wasn't there for the reveals, he didn't give a shit about, like, the fact that the word Astartes was banned. He was like, I'm not here for anything, I'm just here for this one mission. Yeah, he's got a Stomper, and he loves it, and I can so get behind that level of, like, deep need. So whoever that was is a legend. Yeah.
Well, you know, I... would hope that if you could just start really pushing the hashtag Pray for Stompa meme, because that is something I started in 7th edition, and I just Googled hashtag Pray for Stompa, and it actually has been used once by someone not me, so that is practically trending.
Okay, well, ask everyone in the chat. That's where we could probably we could ask everyone in this chat to do on the reveal show. Obviously, is jump in. I think several of us got timed out in the chat for not anything particularly negative. Just, hey, have you seen this Astartes video? Could you make Stompers 500 points? Pretty like low-level stuff.
Right.
But yeah, Pray for Stomper gets you a 10-minute timeout. It did. Loads of the guys in the chat right now were there on Saturday and they got timed out. They were like, I said Pray for Stomper and I got timed out. So understand that you're asking people to do something.
That might be one of my most proud accomplishments, not just in a 40K context, but if I thought you were, that is amazing.
Yeah, the Twitch chat were
also, what's really funny to me about them being upset about the Astartes thing is that like it's very clear that if you just happen to be producing good content or like running a large tournament when they like went outside for the first time in 10 years, you were kind of like welcomed into the fold. But now they're the crew, so like now like anyone new, they're not in, they're on the outs. And I think that's kind of funny.
I agree.
Because all the really cool stuff they're looking to be starting to produce is all based on like fan-made stuff, is it not?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, also like let's be honest, like they're not. It's not unlike them to steal all IP. It's not unlike them to steal all IP all the time. I mean, the not Psychic Awakening, the one before that, the Gathering Storm, was just Attack of the Clones.
Right.
I say this all the time. It's just Attack of the Clones. Like they're like, oh, we found this guy on a moon with 10,000 clones, and I'm like, I know this story. But what's exciting for me is when they release, obviously, the Gungans, whenever that's coming out, because I'm hype about the Gungans.
I think they're the crew, are they not? The thing that I love particularly about that is if it's true, they were in a jam session and were like, all right, we need a new narrative. Okay, I saw this really good movie. It was called Attack of the Clones. I don't know if you caught it. Yoda was like a ninja in it. And
they're like, we need a second opinion on this. Go talk to the rules guys. And the rules guys are they're like, no, we roll ones to wound. They'll never see it coming.
I don't like Ragnarok. I know that this is a channel founded on Ragnarok GW. This is the version.
That's not the case at all. Like, love and support.
The name of this channel is not a quiet dig at Games Workshop at all. No, it's not. No, you're just tell it like it is. You're just an honest guy.
It's
just an honest guy. Complete coincidence.
I feel really attacked right now.
Hashtag pray for Stomp.
I say, well, good. And maybe that's where we should end it today. We managed one. I want you to know of the 40k factions.
Yeah, good, because we put a pin in the Adeptus Custodes, and that leaves...
Because you have to go, right? Like, because you got work, which is...
I mean, only if you're pushing me.
No,
I can go another 10
minutes. Fuck yeah, stay. I want you to stay. I'm having a great time, thanks.
That's good.
Yeah. It's been really nice. It's been really nice having you on the show and everyone else who's come on the show over the past few weeks.
Chad, I just want to point out that Rob attempted to kick me off his stream there, and I refused. So he tried to get me in the headlock and Jazzy Jeff me out. People tuning in just now, he told a good story at the beginning of the show. That wasn't about Warhammer. It was about him throwing a guy through a glass window. And
that was later.
I'm like thousands of kilometers away. He can't touch me. He can't do it. So I'm gonna continue pushing my luck.
Please do. We could do that. Okay. So Owen pointed out.
And the last time Rob came to Canada, he wound up in hospital. So look out, bud. Watch yourself.
Yeah. Also pray for Falcon. Pray for Stomper. Pray for Falcon. As well.
Yes. Stompa first. Falcon will be fine. Stompa's been fucked for a long time.
So Owen's just done the maths, by the way. Based on our ratio of factions that we've done for weeks that we've got, we need the lockdown to last for 6 months.
Let's not. Yeah. Let's just press a random button. No. Yeah, that could happen. So let's not push our luck.
So we're not going to do Custodes, but we can do one to wrap it up, which is my favorite.
Let's do one more wrap.
Which is the Adeptus Mechanicus.
Okay.
Yes.
Or as they say on the streets, AdMech.
The AdMech, yeah. Yeah, they do. Does,
See, I know this Warhammer
Has
talk.
anyone ever come to you and be like, I've been running an Adeptus Mechanicus army, and you're like, do you mean AdMech?
Oh, you mean AdMech?
I've heard of those guys. The AdMech. Why is there no short for, Adeptus Custodes are just custodes, aren't they?
What? Custodes? Why are we back to custodes? I thought we were talking about
No,
AdMech. I read the chat for a second and I missed your
I'm
tangent.
just talking about the shortening of the words. I just don't know if that happens with anything else. Raven Guard, Iron Hands, they're the same. Imperial Knights, they're just called Knights.
Sure.
Imperial Fists, Death Watch. Unless you're an Irish fellow, in which they're Dead Watch. Dead Watch. Dead Watch.
There's an Irish guy that is on Ace Face's channel from time to time, and he always talks about the Death Watch.
Death Watch. The Blood Angels, the Bangles. They don't really get called that, though. Although, maybe I'd like them to be called the Bangles.
I like Bangles.
I like Bangles. That's good.
The Bo Bangles.
The Bo Bangles. Look at that Smash Captain with the Bo Bangles. Anyway, and then Astra Militarum is still just called. It's still called the Guard, right?
Yeah, pretty much Imperial Guard. Also a couple things here. This is just what really grinds my gears kind of comment. A lot of people complain about how it's not the Adeptus. What are they called? Imperial Guard. Or you just said it. Astra Militarum. They're not the Astra Militarum. They're the Imperial Guard. Yeah. And like Games Workshop calls them the Imperial Guard all the time.
Oh.
It is like literally referred to as Imperial Guard constantly, both by them in the book and like in their communications. Like, it's okay, guys. You can still say guard. It's not a problem.
Not a problem. Not a problem at all.
The evil empire is not squashing, unlike the Stampa, is not squashing your ability to say Imperial Guard. You're free to say it. In fact, you're welcome to say it. Same thing as Space Marines. In fact, the Codex is still, I believe, Codex Space Marines. Am I wrong? Am I full of poop on that one?
Is it? Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is.
Am I crazy? Am I just making stuff up?
No. On their website, it is listed as Space Marines.
It's not Adeptus Astartes?
No, it is not Adeptus Astartes. It is just Codex Space Marines.
Yeah, it is. It's Codex Space Marines. There you go. Boom.
Why did they?
Roasted.
But it previously was Codex Adeptus Astartes.
I have no idea. I can't remember. I don't even know where I am right now or how I got here. I am in the now.
So
now.
apparently, according to MJ Pegasus in the chat, in the book they say something like Astra Militarum on page 1, more commonly known as the Imperial Guard on the very first page.
There you go.
Okay. Well, so Adeptus Mechanicus, effectively known as AdMech. What do you make of this army? What do you think of them? Because they're pretty new.
I think they're super new, which is actually interesting because they've sort of evolved from is it Blanche? Is that the guy? Who's the guy who does those sweet sketches? John Blanche. So they evolved from just very bizarre John Blanche fever dreams into an actual thing. I guess probably within the last decade, and as a result have been fleshed out from both a lore and model line perspective. I really like the sort of cyberpunk BDSM vibe that they have. You don't really notice it, but almost like for example, the dragoons and things are just like a gimp wired into a walker with a dude riding him, and that's pretty gross and awesome in my opinion. And I think that's pretty cool. I think they should keep up the cyberpunk BDSM vibe.
Well, so the interesting thing about the plastic kit specifically, because the first Mechanicus stuff, ignoring Tech Marines and Servo Skulls and the occasional bits here and there through the ages, the first big set of stuff to ever come out was obviously all from Forge World for the Horus Heresy. So the Adeptus Mechanicus stuff.
Which has... Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
It's okay, but the models for that are incredible.
Phenomenal.
And then they did a bunch of plastic stuff a few years later.
Totally different design concept.
Thank you so much. And it pisses me off loads.
I don't get it. The original aesthetic, of those, and they're not the AdMech, I believe, in 30K. They're something else slightly different. Don't they have a different term? Isn't there a different word for them? Are they not the Adeptus Mechanicus in 30K?
So interesting. No, they're the Adeptus Mechanicum. So the Mechanicum in 40K.
Mechanicum.
30K. Interesting thing about them is the Mechanicum as was, or the Fabricator General, he turned, spoilers, he turned traitor. So this is cool, though. This is cool. So actually, you've got the Mechanicum from the Heresy, which are now actually the Dark Mechanicum, and then
Gotcha.
the Adeptus Mechanicus were the ones who stayed loyal. So maybe the reason there's a different design aesthetic, this is the only way you could sell it. This is some great old school Games Workshop Rob coming out here. The reason is because obviously the story's moved on. They're a different sect. They've done some, but truthfully, it's just because
No bad ideas here. This is a safe space. No bad ideas.
reroll ones. But for me, I don't. I like some of them. I like the Dragoons, but the rest of it, and I like the Skitarii. They're some of my favorite models. But the new stuff that they're doing is just awful.
Yeah, it's really this. I guess this would probably be the second wave of releases for them, realistically. Yeah, it really took a left-hand turn at Albuquerque, and it's not that I don't like them. It's just that the Adeptus Mechanicum style is just so beautiful. It's like I don't know, really round edges. They have like a Metropolis feel. I don't know if you know the film Metropolis.
I do. Fantastic film.
Sort of like a Art Deco, like early technology, early modernism feel to them, which to me, like, where 40K is like this like Baroque future, like it's medieval times in the future. Didn't mean to blow your mind there, guys, but that's what it is.
Space fantasy.
You had this sort of, like, if you were the medieval times in the future, designing what the future looks like to you, that's what the Adeptus Mechanicum kind of looks like to me, if you will. Follow along. Whereas the new stuff, I don't know what the hell it's supposed to be. Like, it's just it's very different. Although, to be honest with you, I don't dislike it tremendously. I think it's actually kind of neat. I like their little hovercraft. Even their flyer is kind of quirky and cool. The dogs, the mounted dudes, I think that's a bit silly.
Oh no, I'm into them loads.
Pete loves them too. I think they look dumb, but it's 40K. Everything's kind of dumb.
Where I'm out though is because this is the thing that's quite sad about that. Just as an army, because they were one of the earliest codexes to come out, and they've had some stuff. But unfortunately for me, the bit about them, the Dragoons for a while were okay, and the Dunecrawler, which is fine as a sculpt, was okay as well. But the horror show is that easily the worst model out of the whole range, the Castellan robots.
I've heard you complain about this.
Yeah, the Castellan robots.
Say again?
The Castellan robots
They're
are
worse?
the worst.
Oh, you don't like them?
Oh, no.
Well, yeah. Again, because they went with that, and they really don't fit in with even the aesthetic of like the new releases. They're kind of quite out of left field.
They make little to no sense.
I like them. They don't. Just stylistically, no, they don't seem to fit in or make a ton of sense. I'd agree, but they are cool to me. I think they're awesome because they are 1950 space robots. 1950 space robots. Shadow Tabletop Tactics, and I think they're cool. It's more, the range just feels a bit disjointed when it does have so many neat elements and like character pieces within it, and also just in general, the Adeptus Mechanicum or Mechanicus, whatever it is a really neat piece of the lore, and it's really a deep vein that they can mine for perhaps years to come.
Yeah, no, I think that half human, mainly robot. But some of the guys in the chat saying, especially Owen Jackson, is like, oh my god, they're great. But the problem is, and I'm gonna now actually just like, as much as I respect him, love him, and I think he's wonderful, I'm gonna tell him to fuck you, buddy, because in the chat, if you guys before those awful Castellan robots were released, they'd already released the gorgeous Mechanicum Thanatars, which are just better in every way, shape, or form.
Sure.
They just look cooler. They're more Mechanicum, and then they were just released like this, honestly. And then the thing that pissed me off most, like when at the start of 40K, genuinely they were so good. They were super undercosted. They were really tough to deal with. They were really good.
Well, you could always use them as a stand in Castellan. I do now. You've already tried to kick me off. You've tried to fire me. I will now not accept being fired. I will quit. But shout out, Rob. I just wanted to say about AdMech that anyone out there, again, this is another bugaboo for me on the 40K interwebs. People are always talking about how greedy Games Workshop is. Oh, they're just doing that to sell this model. Oh, they have too many of those models in the warehouse. That's why the rules got so good. Blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, Games Workshop has no idea about the relationship between anything that they do and the stuff that makes them money. This is a core principle of my understanding of this company. Reinforced, I think, by a lot of anecdotal and firsthand knowledge. But nonetheless, the biggest point that I think underscores the fact that they don't really care all that much about how much money they make is the fact that they've never released rules for the Forge World Adeptus Mechanicus range for 40K. They're some of the most gorgeous models
in the world.
You have your biggest line is Warhammer 40,000. They forever didn't have any vehicles. Some of the coolest vehicles that they have ever made are in the Adeptus Mechanicum range, and they have never made rules for them in 40K, which blows my damn mind. So maybe when they come back and redo the Forge World indexes and stuff, indices, if you will, maybe they'll give those rules on the second pass, because it'd be great. I'd love to see those conveyors and the giant laser gun on tracks. Like, that'd be awesome to see that in 40K.
It would be the best, and I think you've hit all. Yeah, I can't agree with, can't disagree with anything you've said. But I know you need to go now, so is that what you're getting to? Right. Thank you so much for being on the show. We've managed to, kind of, but maybe we'll come back next week. Next Tuesday, join me, Val, and the Falcon again. But I need to say a massive thank you to everyone who has joined us today, and to everyone who...
Maybe on Saturday. Maybe I'll pop by on Saturday. We'll see.
Oh, yes, I'd like that. That would be really great. I'm trying to book guests in. That's one of my things later. So, yeah, join us on Saturday for our all-day. Or tomorrow, we'll be talking Beasts of Chaos, which is really fun. Thanks, Val, for being on the show.
Sure.
Thank you to everyone on the Small Gamer Patreon. You guys are great. So thanks so much. Fuck you, buddies.
I'm a Patreon. You guys should be too.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, man. But so we're going to stop recording. We've done that, so the podcast guys can just whatever. Now it's just us and the Twitch dudes, and we're going to go raid someone. You don't have to stay for this, but if you've got to run off. But I like raiding.
Are we still on Twitch?
We're still on Twitch, yeah. Everyone can see us.
Oh, okay.
But
so I won't tell the chat what I actually think about them.
But we're going to go find someone who's got like a couple of viewers, and then just go raid them, because it makes them super happy and really cute and makes me laugh. What should we do? Should we do a 40K one? Because painting a Taurox Prime.
I was gonna say, yeah, just go raid like someone who's like, and now we're gonna paint these happy little trees.
We raided a guy last week and he cried. It was the sweetest thing in the world.
No.
Yeah, he'd been on I've been on Twitch for 3 years. Like, this is so amazing. Like, and he was just like, and he was painting super great stuff. And we were all just like we were so happy, like, as a group, that we'd gone.
And you all just typed hashtag pray for Stampa, and
yeah.
And he cried sadness.
Warmaster in the chat has just said thanks, Falk.
I'm not actually a Falcon, but I am actually going to leave. So can I just hang up? Is that fine?
Yeah, you can. Love you loads, bro. See you soon.
All right, later. Cheers,
Bye.
Man. Love you too, man.
So I've clicked the link for the raid in the chat. If you guys want to join me, we'll go have fun raiding this bloke. And thanks for joining me today. You guys are amazing. So yeah, thanks. You guys just kick ass, and it's great to see you. See you tomorrow. So let's go raid. Ba, ba, ba,